Hi, guys.
Hey, Virgo.
Hi, Virgo.
Working it out, y'all.
Working it out, Virgo. Here we are. The time has come to have your reading.
So, what have you been thinking about? You've been thinking about a lot because you guys have been, with us through this month, heavily, a lot. And you guys are trying to get things in order.
It's an Earth season, so for you, if you guys follow the IG account, I just put a shout out to you guys up for having the most views. Shout out to you for having the most views last month. That's why we're starting with you. So you guys are definitely in a place where you want to learn something and you're looking for answers in this transition. And we can feel that. We've been feeling that for a while. There's been a lot of opposing emotions to whatever it is that you've been trying to manifest in your life. And so hopefully we'll be able to guide you a little bit more now that you're in a little bit more of a compatible season. Aries is a little bit more challenging for you. There's a lot of allure there, but it's not your best suit. Taurus is, though. Taurus is actually the most compatible sign with Virgo. So this is definitely a really good time to meet someone if you're single, Virgos, which Virgos tend to be single a lot. I wonder why. Maybe just because you guys are really, really critical of your mates, and that's okay. Or it could just be a good time to focus on work, which a lot of you are having a lot of work issues right now. So let's get right into this reading and see what May has in store for you.
All right, y'all. So your energy is the Knight of Raphael, which is the Knight of Cups. And this is really just about the commitments that you have with people, the understandings that you have with them, what you offer them, what they offer you, how you guys treat each other in regards to the dynamics of how you work together. You know each other's emotions. You know what pisses each other off.
It's the bottom of the deck.
It's the bottom of the deck.
So that's where he's referencing that from, right? Which is the Knight of Cups energy, right? And that's the presentations. There's sudden, Knights are fiery energy. So if you're talking about some type of passion. Yeah. There are also sectors of intimidation. Knights can be very intimidating just because they exist.
Right. I was going to say, easy does it.
Right. Like just walking by. Think about like when you think about the monarchy, when you think about London and you think about England and you think about how like the knights nowadays aren't really knights out there really doing stuff, fighting wars, but they're still intimidating when you walk past the palace and you see like a knight just standing there suited up. It's like, whoa, this is like call for action, right? It's or something
movement.
Sudden.
It's movement. It's very situational, you know what I mean? So the situation right now is good. It's getting better, right? Because you guys had some issues, some things that you needed to work out.
Well, and you learn things through analysis. So I think now that you've had some time to process some things that may have just initially started in Aries season, right? Now you're the next step. You're feeling a little bit more comfortable because you know where to go with things once the predictable comes in. You like routine. You are Earth sign.
Okay, so let's get into the first card. You got the Ace of Gabriel, which is the Ace of Wands,
All right.
We're just finishing up Aries season. We're going into Taurus season, You're activated. It's kind of like this is the first Earth sign, right? It's the first initiative of the Earth sign. So how are you taking initiative? Are you taking initiative by way of being compassionate and loving and understanding? Or are you just being, rocky and rigid like you normally are? You're not. You're seeing that this new place of romance, love, and understanding and just some softness is actually you get more flies with honey. Okay?
This is Aries season, just now passing, basically. And we're in Taurus. This is Aries as well. I mean, it could be any fire sign.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's an initiation of fire, and it can symbolize all of the wands. So it could be any kind of fire sign, and you're kind of rising to this place. What I'm getting from it is rising to a truth in oneself. One quality about Aries that is steadfast is their ability to think of themselves first. No offense to Aries at all, it's actually something we could probably learn a little bit more about and cultivate a little bit more. And with Virgo wanting to serve so much, you can get to a place where you feel thwarted or unappreciated because you have given this service or overextended yourself with a company or with a relationship, and now you're kind of getting back to that place where you're like, wait a minute, let me get back to what I want and what actually drives me. Like, why did I do it anyway? This is the first card of the minor arcana. So after that major moment with the completion of Saturn from the world, and then maybe with some tarots you have the Fool as the last card, or the World's the last card, but really the Fool was in everything, as we well know. Then you start to get into the minor arcana, and the first one is this, right? So this is definitely talking about initiations of spirit from everything that you've now analyzed, which a lot of people actually had these initiations last month in Aries, right? But because you are Virgo, it's going to take you a little bit longer to process something because you want to analyze it with critical energy, and then you want to compute things and be like, okay, now I know why I need to do this way, which is why people always interpret you as someone who is very judgmental at times, or associates things with this type of critical, I want to be perfect kind of energy. Yeah, you do want to be perfect, but it really is about being progressive. That's the sincerity. That is the sun in it. The shadow side of it is like, what is perfection, right? And you're going to drive yourself and everybody else crazy trying to make yourself happy when you don't really know what you want in the first place. That could be the shadow side, right?
That's like the mutable energy of Virgo. And speaking of fire, you know, you got the Ace of Gabriel, Aries. Mercury was just retrograde in Aries, right? So now those new initiatives that you're taking are happening post-retrograde. We're in the shadow period. You're understanding a little bit more about the situation that you were just involved in, or that's still passing through, right? Because it is a night. And you know, you're challenging yourself. It's good. It's good. You're trying to hold your tongue. You're trying not to get into arguments with people about who's right and who's wrong, because you definitely can do that a lot. And I understand. It's like, because you are service-oriented, you would like for people to understand things in a way that you see them as well. Because, you know, you are very intelligent. You are very smart. But you also have to let other people figure things out for themselves sometimes and not just tell them what is. You see what I mean? Because that's the whole thing with, you know, people in Virgo, is that they get tired of being critiqued so much, and then you almost can't even take it yourself. You know what I mean? It's almost like offensive for you to get that reflection of yourself.
It's like when you're smart, you don't have to tell people that you're smart.
Right.
They can figure out that you're smart.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, you know, you're so busy trying to be like, I'm smart, look at me, I'm smart. It's like people will be able to process that from your actions and from the things that you actually do, because that's how you process things. So think about that, and it's same. Everybody's needs are different, but if you think about what your needs are, then you'll understand how people could also need that from you.
Right.
You know, because that's how you treat people.
Right.
You want the facts and the proof, and you're always looking at the pentacles of it, and you'd be like, yeah, you're saying this, but last week you did that, right?
Yeah. Totally.
So there's a little bit of fickleness that also comes with Virgo. It's not as easy to spot, because you guys do like the routines, and you do like ritualisms and stuff like that.
So
but it changes over, and it crumbles through. You know, so sometimes you guys have to be steadfast with things too. And something that Aries is good at is ringing it all in.
Right.
It's also ruled by the Emperor, so it's about constructions. And you guys very much want to build something new, even if it's just here. You definitely want to build something new, a new version of yourself, because you're tired of the same thing.
Right.
And it's obvious.
You know, this Knight of Raphael card could also be attributed to the moon, because right now, as we're doing this reading, the moon is literally at like 15, somewhere between 13 and 17 degrees of Virgo. So this Knight of Raphael card is definitely, you know, speaking to your energy right now. And, okay, I was just going to say how Virgo is mutable, right? Think of Gemini, think of Pisces, and the mutableness of their signs. Also Sagittarius. It's like that element that that represents you. there's so much imagination that is like punched into it. If it's fire, it's like you're imagining what all the things that you could be doing. If it's water, you're just imagining all the feelings that you could be feeling. Pisces, the first one was Sagittarius. All the things to do, all the things to present, all the things to fix, all the things to make. You know what I mean? That's sort of like Virgo. Let's try to fix all the things.
Yeah, it looks like you need to the card in your sun is Eight of Michael, which is like an Eight of Swords type of energy. So it's like basically saying the positive part of the message of this is it's really not as bad as you guys are making it out to be. Right? It's just because you're so critical in your energy already that maybe you're missing the power that you have. This is an 8 and you guys are a 9. So this is already an energy that's within you probably. Right? This is kind of like 8s are denoted to Leo kind of in that way where it's like the self and this accumulation of your will and your dreams and the power that it takes within yourself. This is also an accumulation. This is Jupiter and Gemini. So Gemini, which is also ruled by Mercury, just like you. But Gemini is communication for communication's sake. We're just analyzing the data for the data's sake. My experience, someone else's experience. Virgo is talking about progressiveness. It's talking about data that is going to that's going to bring about a change, right? So Virgos don't just need communication.
You just said a very important
They need
word.
perfect communication. You know, you could have a conversation with a Virgo, and it could easily just be like, we talked about it, but what did we learn from what we talked about? You know what I mean? They'll be like, yeah, we talked about it, but
we talked about everything because you didn't give us one thing to focus on.
Yeah, like it's like one of those situations where, it's like a Virgo will be like, did we talk about this situation? Yeah, but if there's nothing that actually came through with the resolution, then it's just that you're talking about it. You know what I mean? And a Gemini could commute that and be like, yeah, we talked about it, so things must be fine. Whereas a Virgo will be like, we talked about it and nothing was resolved.
It's the resolve. What was solved? What were the improvements made based on the information that we shared between each other? You got to think about, sometimes you get really bogged down. This energy is actually pretty good in this reading right now. You know what I mean? It is saying that, sometimes you get a little bit crazy in the mind as far as like the things that you want to do and the things that you want to improve on. It's almost like you're like, I can't make the improvements. But I need to make all of the improvements. It's saying that you need to sort of like relinquish that control issue. You know what I mean? And just be like the Empress. The Empress, she exists. Right? And
now we're really talking about something that's out there. Now we're starting to get into, self-expression, right? And the idea of also groups or the idea of like purpose.
There's some flow to this.
And we're not just talking about me or us. We're talking about they and we, or this thirst in general to just act upon your plans and your emotions, especially with the moon being in Virgo. It's saying that you definitely have some ideas. Either like, it could be an actual pregnancy. Who knows? Some of you Virgos could actually be pregnant. And you're getting that news and the feelings of whatever that's going to bring for you. Or it's the idea of just like bringing in a new, what does a baby symbolize? The baby, which is also ruled by Aries,
the baby is like the reward.
It's the reward, but it's also the manifestation of the work, of the play, of the everything. All the months of the pregnancy, all the carrying of this idea into its fruition. And some of you are pregnant with some ideas and you're about ready to burst. That water's about to break.
It's really crazy because it's like there's like the Empress here who he's saying is pregnant and she's awaiting this thing to happen, and the Ace of Gabriel is at the top almost crowning it. So it's saying something is actually
it's going to be a new spirit. You're going to have like a new feeling or a new idea, and thank God, because that's really what you guys have been waiting for. I think that's why you guys are so thirsty right now, even with the spiritual guidance, because and you feel it, And the heavenly bodies have kind of been leaving you guys alone for quite some time. All the summer babies and the fall babies have kind of been like,
yeah,
you know, left alone. It's really been like
been
spring and winter and all of the slower social planets that take so long to move. So it could be good and bad in that sense when the heavens start to ignore you. You know, it's really time. You're kind of being left alone to your own devices.
Right. Virgo, 9, the Hermit, going within.
And you could definitely drive your own self crazy in that sense, Virgo, right? Or your partner.
Right. Oh, and we just said Virgo, 9, the Hermit, and we just got the 9 of Ariel, which is...
Venus and Virgo.
Right, there you go. Venus and Virgo.
So what you establish for yourself is some beauty within yourself. Some of you are definitely coming from a place where you feel like you accomplished something that you wanted. An establishment. It could be a new business. It could be just a new feeling in yourself. Some of you broke off some relationships that weren't serving you, and you went from being coupled to being single, and you're okay, or you were okay at least. We'll see what the present and the future hold. But you've been okay with it. You've been okay with the process of like, I had to let that idea go, that person go. The accumulation of what lessons needed to be learned. Maybe some of you got a new pet over the winter time, or you just found a new kind of like companionship or understanding within yourself and an alignment within yourself. Some of you might even got a promotion. Like work could have been really doing good and started to finally pick up. Even if it's not a feeling of spiritually feeling good, it's like monetarily things have gotten a little bit better, or should probably be getting better.
You're looking around at your surroundings. It's like how you might have been able to save some money, right? You might have gotten promoted at work. You know what I mean? It might have been that new presentation that actually made people start seeing you differently. You know what I mean? New presentation doesn't mean that you have to be in a boardroom, because this is Venus, so presentation is important. It's not like being in the boardroom with a pointer pointing at a board. It's like, how are you presenting yourself? How are you presenting your ideas to people? Because we are talking about Virgo, and you have ideas that actually can be manifested. You just have to take your time. And that's the deal with Virgo. You know, the Knight of Pentacles, which we don't have, but we have the exact opposite opposing that coming up for you, and it's taking your time. I feel like that's what...
There's a lot about timing, and there's a waiting period you guys have been in your emotions, and also in the reality of like, you've worked really hard at something, and you're still waiting for that last little thing. You're waiting for the 10 of Pentacles to kick in, and to feel the inheritance, or to feel it like you can leave something and it can work on its own. Like you know what I mean? It's like building a robot or something. You're Virgos, you're engineers, so this is how I'm going to communicate with you, because you can understand that. It's like you building something, a machine or something, and you've been monitoring it and supervising it and watching it work on its own, because you built it to work on its own, but now you have to trust that you can leave it and everything's not going to fall apart. Whatever that is. If it's a relationship, if it's yourself, or if it's in a manifestation of a group or a job, you kind of have to letting go is a huge part of Virgo energy in general. It's the Hermit. So that is a karmic, cosmic lesson for you in this lifetime if your sun is in Virgo.
You're letting it happen, like last month's reading. They're letting it happen, honey. Work.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so new beginnings. This is traditionally the Judgment card, or atonement, right? Beautiful card, major arcana card right now. So this is a major moment right now, here and in your emotions, which is also a present card, right? The Empress.
There's an Earth trine going on right now between Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, just because, you know, the moon is there in Virgo right now as we're doing this reading, and Pluto is in Capricorn with Saturn, you know what I mean? So it's like, you got Pluto
read it to them.
Starting a new life, finding your purpose, a forgiving and compassionate review of the past.
Starting a new life.
Honey, review. The 9, right? Virgo, you had that retrograde. Pluto is now retrograde in Capricorn with Saturn. But Mercury is not. Mercury's direct right now. You know? And it's direct in Aries. So you definitely are feeling the initiative. You're relinquishing control. And look at that.
And that's a progression right there.
Honey.
Okay, so after the 20, which is the atonement, you got the World card, 21, right? Last of
Capricorn.
the major arcana.
I just mentioned Capricorn, honey.
Right, so
Saturn.
So what's going to happen? You know, that's a progression all by itself.
Right.
So this could mean a couple of things. If it's pertaining to work, this is definitely really positive.
Mm-hmm.
If it's talking about work, it's definitely talking about like you being able to see things as they are and therefore leading to a completeness, leading to some type of cosmic completeness. Now, for some of you, that might be a feeling of stagnation. And the feeling of stagnation is positive because you realize that you're being stagnant. So that's the positive of that. Or it could mean literally like a new beginning. You know, some of you get to that place where you can no longer take, especially if this is a relationship, you're going to get to that place where you can no longer take whatever it is that you have been taking and fooling yourself into taking. Right? Like you're not going to be able to settle for that anymore because the world and the new beginnings, which is right here with atonement and judgment, is telling you that you see things as it is.
This is with you, too.
Right.
It's like, what have you been doing to yourself that has been sabotaging you?
Allowing people to treat you in a way that's beneath you, that I can tell you now.
Right. Also, you know, it's kind of like everything that you have been working on and the letting go of all of those things that you so hold tightly to, that is Mercury finally coming out of the retrograde. You finally realizing that maybe I did come on a little bit too strong.
There's a big reveal that's happening.
Ace of Gabriel, Aries coming on too strong. You
There's
know what
a new, because it's saying right here in your rising, that Ace of Gabriel is saying that you are rising to a new initiative. So you are not necessarily there. You want to be there because Nine of Pentacles is saying, I need something, right? But the initiative is going to come because there's going to be a reveal. Either you guys have already had the reveal or you're going to have it. And I mean now, like this month, like this week, next week, or you had it last week and it's happened and this is the reveal of it. And now
it's positive.
You're going to think about, I mean, it's positive in knowing. Now, maybe the reveal wasn't positive. You never know. But now you know something that you didn't know. Because Pluto's scary like that. You know what I mean? Stubborn. It's pretty icy. And it's very black and white. Pluto is. It's not really a lot of room for negotiation. It is this, it isn't. I mean, Pluto is ruling death. You're dead or alive.
You might feel
you know what I mean?
might feel like there's some room for negotiation because it is Pluto, right? So it is speaking to like the subconscious, the underneath, the unveiling of things. So there's that confusion that's there. So you think that it could go either way, but Pluto knows that it's going to go this way or that way.
It's also the idea that, you know, everyone knows now. Because this is like, Pluto in that sense is like everybody knows something that maybe you were trying to keep under wraps or somebody else was trying to keep under wraps or some type of something, and it's all out there in the open. The sun has gone around 360 degrees and now new decisions have to be made because everyone knows.
This in the present right now, you have allowed yourself to let this transformation happen. And because you're allowing it to happen, because you don't have control. Which you like, but you don't have it. So that was the lesson here, right? That's why Saturn is.
You're not going to be able to control everything.
You can't control it because you know what? You're blocking this energy of understanding. And that's what you want people to understand you and your vision of what has to be and what needs to be. You know,
it could very well be blocking a relationship too. I mean, this could definitely be the new beginning with yourself because I think this is a very personal journey and a lot of what Virgo has to go through in this life is personal. But you could also be blocking like the possibilities of a relationship with someone, or a relationship is in the way of your personal growth.
The opportunities that, you know, could come from you having this cleansing experience because, you know, Pluto is about cleansing. And I feel like that's what you're doing. You're allowing yourself to let go of that strenuous behavioral, you know, aspect of you where it's like you're always trying to, it's almost like you're always complaining, Virgo. You know what I mean? And that's what it comes across as because you're analyzing other people, but then you're also analyzing your own life because you are the hermit. You are going within. But when you analyze yourself, it's almost like you're complaining and it's almost about other people. Kind of like a Pisces. But I'm not painting anyone with a wide stroke, you know, here. I'm just saying that those are some of the things that stand out. Hopes and fears. or your anxieties. Ace of
Okay.
Raphael
Is the new love. There's another ace there.
Right.
So in this, change is coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's around the corner, right? So
Fire, water.
You
Fire,
are
water.
having anxieties either about a new relationship, or a relationship that has been there for a while that continues to cause these brings about new anxieties or new emotions within you, which causes you to have these new passions, because you're like, well, of course I'm thinking these new things because you keep making me feel something new, right?
Honey.
So it could be that, or it could be just the idea of letting in, or having to start over. Right, because the Ace of Cups is like new emotions, and that could be, it's normally a very positive thing. It talks about new love and new emotions, but to have it in your anxieties is like you're afraid.
Right.
There's like fear.
There's fear. There is fear. And you're not going to be rejected. The Knight of Cups is here saying that you're going to be welcomed with open arms. The Two of Cups is here to say you're going to be welcome. The Empress is here to say you're going to be welcome, but you're worried with the Eight of Michael.
Right. It's not as bad as you, whatever it is not as bad as you have made it out to be.
You're making it worse.
And it's probably because there aren't a lot of swords, so you probably are not communicating well, or you're just not getting the communication that you need, because as a Virgo, you need perfect communication.
Right.
And not everybody can give that. Not everybody has Mercury in Virgo like us, which is exalted, so we can break it down in a way that you can really get it. Not everybody's going to be able to break it down for you in that way and make sense. Some things are nonverbal. Some things do have to be deciphered, especially if some of you Virgos are dealing with water signs.
Mercury in Virgo, not Sun, okay? Because Mercury in Virgo is going to actually do it, and it's going to do it efficiently. Right. And the Virgo Sun is going to really want to do it efficiently.
But doesn't necessarily mean it can.
Right. They're working from a place of being like, I want to be efficient. I am going to be efficient. And then your attempts to really drive that home, you're not.
Right. So, and your wheel is the Sun. Wow.
We just said Sun in Virgo is different than Mercury in Virgo. Okay?
Right. So that's just saying that you want to put energy into this awareness that you have. Right. This is also, like I said again, trying with the new beginnings. So this is 19, then you had 20 and 21. So there's a progression that's happening here, right? Where it's like you're having the awareness, then you're realizing that, it's already out there. Right. So everything is already out there. Why am I in a place where I'm driving myself crazy when it's actually clear? Right. I don't have to keep analyzing something if everybody sees it for what it is.
And this is good for you, but it's also good for everybody else, right?
Right. Because if we all are looking at something and we all agree that it's the color red, then we don't have to keep analyzing what color it is.
Thank you.
Because we all agreed that it was red.
Right. Now don't try to make it maroon when we already said it was going to be red.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, all the colors are mixed in together in certain ways. So, it could be a light blue or a purplish red or blah, blah. But, like, if we all agreed, this is what it's called now.
That's totally Virgo. It's like you can see all the colors on that spectrum, on that wheel. You're like, yes, that's sidewalk gray, but this is perspective gray. And you're like, but they look kind of the same. It's like looking at paint swatches for the wall and all the colors are similar. That's Virgo. You're like, yeah, they all are different, but they all kind of look the same. We could just choose one of these, and they're like, no, but it has to be.
I think it's saying see yourself and see your habits as well, because the Sun is like, in this placement is talking about your will and what you want, and then the Sun is like in your chart is like the awareness that everybody can see. So this is like everyone's aware of your Virgoisms. Right? So there's no point in really trying to hide those things. It's almost like you need to start celebrating those parts of yourself and not taking yourself too seriously. Bring some comedy to these matters. Because it's time to move into like a lighter energy instead of like the woe is me kind of energy.
So serious all the time.
Yeah, you're getting into Taurus energy. And that is very compatible for you. So now it's just talking about the actual proof that's out there, right? Think about the manifestations of things, okay? Your advice is King of Raphael.
Oh, beautiful. It is safe to trust, honey. So this is just talking about, like, relinquishing that control. All the work that you've been doing is not in vain. But you don't want to constantly push the fact that there's been so much work involved. Yeah, there has. Now we can enjoy the work and what we've done.
It's saying it's safe to trust.
Yeah, the sun is here. This is your 12th house. It's Leo. It's something that Virgo has almost kind of like come away from, but you want to revisit that because you are so critical, but then like in the criticalness, you're not allowing things that are going to shine naturally to just shine.
Right, because it's conjunct to you, so a lot of Virgo is like, yeah, we have the self, and yeah, we have these things, but we need to bring it into a functionality for everyone, right? Because everybody's not going to have this. Everybody's not going to be able to shine in these ways. So what are we doing it for? It goes back to that, like, what are we doing it for kind of thing. But it's saying also, I mean, some of you could be dealing with a water sign. If you are dealing with a water sign, especially Cancer or Scorpio, could even be Pisces, because a lot of you have been dealing with Pisces. It's saying that the advice is that. The advice is to look at these emotions that have made you mature in the ways that you have, right? These things that have forced you to feel all of these things now. Don't throw that awareness away.
This is great.
It's actually positive, and it's mostly just self.
It's supporting the card under the deck because it's saying, okay, night, that situation came through, Saturn came through, Pluto came through, Venus came through, the sun came through. So you got like malefic planets, but you also got benefic planets.
Right.
And that's a balance right there. So that's causing you to progress from the Knight of Raphael to the King of Raphael. So you're understanding things a little bit more clearly. Beautiful. And you end with the Six of Michael.
Six of Michael, which is Six of Swords, which is giving you Mercury, your ruler, and Aquarius, which is all about a fixed mind. So maybe you have been too stubborn about some things, and you're going to realize it so that you can be a little bit more flexible, because you really are trying to expand and see past some emotions that you've been having.
Changing your perspective. It's healthy.
Wow. Yes. And I'm clarifying with the Versivilia, and the most positive card of the Versivilia. I'm going to get real close so you can see it.
Because it's detail.
Victory. Victory is the outcome when it comes to this new platform. This could very much be about employment. So if some of you are looking for new employment, you're getting into that time. It's the time to start actually doing it.
You have come out of the mental conflict. So now you're moving on.
Right. Or if you're just moving on in general, letting go in general, which is the Six of Swords energy too. And this being there as well as talking about a victory and an advantage in yourself. Now, if you're thinking about a relationship, you feel like you've been too skeptical in it, it's saying you have.
Right.
Okay, so there's that aspect of it. Or it could be you just really need to be focusing on yourself and your mental behaviors, right? Yeah. And maybe what's blocking you, which is this spiritual union that you are or not having, that you want to have and you're not having, or you are having and you're not appreciating.
Right. Here's the thing. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be too hard on other people. Give people the opportunity to understand you. Let them.
That's going to be the lesson in the future. There's a spiritual growth that's happening here with you personally. And it's something that had to happen. Like we said, Pluto is having a great reveal right now, and you're really learning some things about yourself. And this could continue going on, this type of situation, whatever the situation is that has an emotional hold on you, for as long as you allow it.
Right. That's so true.
As long as you allow it, because it looks like some of this is much bigger than you.
Absolutely.
Even bringing in this new situation, if it's a new relationship, or if it's a new job, or if it's a child that you're having. So there's a manifestation of that. All of that will still go into the same type of corridors unless you change. Right? Because there's a lot of you changing. And it seems like that these new emotions are coming in because you have anxieties over them before they even happen. So that there's a change that's happening in you. You're going to change in your spirit. You might want something that you didn't want before. And I even mentioned before when Venus was in Aries, that some of you might be attracted to some things that when Taurus comes around, you might change your mind about or realize that that's not really what you want. So now the dust is settling and you're thinking about actual commitments because Taurus is all about ritualisms and commitments, right? Actual things, structures.
Right.
Now we're not just talking about the childish fantasies of Aries.
Right.
We're actually talking about building something and what do we come together for, right?
You know, it's just, it's time for you to realize that, like, you don't have to be, like, rigid and hurtful to get your point across.
Right.
We're coming to the end of the reading here.
You can be heard. I just want to clarify the advice really quickly as we come to the end. Clarification on that. Gamblers. Okay. So, yeah, it's a gamble with your emotions. Some of you, this was the bottom of the deck before, anger. Some of you are still really resentful and really angry over some things. I even know that I mentioned to a couple of Virgos some things that were going on, and they were like, I don't want to change it. I don't want to feel blah, 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 blah. It was very Page, almost like very... I want to continue being this way. I want to continue holding on to this. And it's not serving you anymore. The advice is to go ahead and mature. See it for what it is. The kings are air, so their minds are fixed. And this is water, so your mind is fixed on something that affects your emotions, right? And now you just have to see that out. Right. Whatever that dissatisfaction was, see it out.
There is risk at relinquishing control. You know what I mean? And that's going to evoke some emotional response, but you can control, not suppress. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's a difference between controlling something and suppressing it, or oppressing someone.
Right.
Or controlling them. You know, just take a deep breath. Let it happen. Boo.
Right.
And, you know, like he said, this is...
Positive major arcana, yeah. Focus on the major arcana cards.
Yeah.
And there's a natural progression that happens there with these three cards. You can even see it, okay? 19, 20, and 21, right? And what's right before 19 is the moon, right? The moon, which is 18. So the moon is talking about things that you're dealing with quietly on your own, your life path, what you're going through when everyone's asleep. Now it's all out in the open. And now the manifestations are going to happen and you're going to learn those lessons.
Yeah. So
that you can move on to the next platform.
You should be really happy with what you've manifested. Proud of it.
Right.
Let everything just fall into place. People are going to be into it.
Move out of your way.
Right.
And just like really